My name is Sandrine Simone. I'm with the Buckeye Review, and it is a pleasure to sit here with you all today. So thank you for being here.
You as
Thank you for
well.
having us.
Thank you for having
I,
us.
I wanted you all to know that I did get to see the reimagine of the movie, and I thought it was fantastic, and it was brilliantly directed and screenplay. So thank you all, and congratulations to you both on that.
Thank you.
Thank you
That
very
means the
much.
world.
And because we have limited time, I just want to go ahead and dive into the question. And my first question is, don't tell mom the babysitter's dead holds a special place in 90s pop culture. What drew each of you to reimagine this story, and how did you approach maintaining the spirit of the original while creating a fresh narrative for today's audience?
Yeah, well, I was a massive fan of that movie when it came out. I saw it like on repeat on HBO, a million times. And so like my thing was I want to give a shout out to the original, but I wanted to just look like my friends and family. And yeah, that's what drew me to it. There's so many memorable lines that my sister and I will quote to one another to this day. And back then we didn't really get along that well. So this was one of like five movies that really bonded us. And so like just the opportunity to give that to another generation is really dope.
Yeah,
Awesome.
what drew me to it was Chuck's script. I mean, of course, I was aware of that movie, but it wasn't a movie that I was like, "Ooh, let me watch this again and again," or like it wasn't like that for me. So I read Chuck's script. I fell in love with these characters. I fell in love with the sibling love story, the way that he had kind of framed it in this way. And then rewatching the original, there was a lot of, kind of kooky things that excited me as a filmmaker to be able to play with and to imbue in this new version.
Oh, that's wonderful. My next question is, in the 1991 film, the story focused on a teen stepping up in her family after an unexpected situation. How does this new version reflect the unique pressures and perspectives of Gen Z compared to the original portrayal of the 1990s teen experience?
Mm.
That's a great question. I think one of the things we wanted to highlight was that it's the original it's a comedy, it's fun, but like that same situation happening to a black family is a little scarier. So like we wanted to make sure to not breeze past that in the remake. But again, I loved the original so much that it was like, how do we how do we keep that same energy and keep that same spirit, but like get to know the kids a little bit better, get to see a little bit more of the dynamics in their family, and also see how they work together, because they are at the beginning of the movie they are very disparate. They almost lead separate lives, where you're like, yeah, did these kids grow up in the same house or not? And then by the end of it, you really see them come together. So that was, I think that was one of the biggest things.
Yeah, and I think over generations kids change, and I also think they don't change, right? I
Mhm.
mean, kids are going to be kids, kids are going to be in those situations, kids are going to want to be adults before their time and then realize, damn, like why am I an adult? I wish I was a kid again, and learn those lessons. So that idea is kind of evergreen. And I think, for us, we just wanted to make sure that it felt like us and the culture that we grew up in, but also not try to chase anything hyper contemporary and make it feel timeless like the story is.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Tanya's character is balancing work, family, and her desire for freedom, reflecting a lot of real pressures young people feel today. How did you work together to develop Tanya's journey, and what were the key themes you wanted her character to embody for today's viewers?
Mm.
Yeah, no, another great question. We wanted to show that kids don't often appreciate fully their parents and what their parents go through, how much they sacrifice for them, until they have to do something like that themselves. We also wanted to make sure that people really pay attention to who their siblings are as individuals, and appreciate them for what they have to offer, rather than like expect them to be carbon copies of themselves. And so it's really just like really appreciating the family that you have, however it looks, and maintaining your sense of individuality within it.
Yeah. And I think we know that, one thing that we can say about this generation is that they are more anxious than other generations for good reason, for a lot of different good reasons. And so for me, from the kind of style standpoint of really wanting to reflect that interior, that really kind of frenetic interior that a 17-year-old today is going to feel. And so the pace is very quick in this movie, and I think we're sort of playing this game of like, keep up if you can, because that is what it feels like to be young. And we really wanted this movie to look like and feel like what it feels like to be that age.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
and we didn't grow up with social media, so like having that be a big part of the movie and how she creates her background, and also her
Mhm.
brother Kenny is has an online presence. That's his whole thing. So like it's a very uh like Wade said, there's a lot more that this generation has to go through. So we really wanted to like highlight that.
Perfect. The director and Chuck as the screenwriter, how did your creative visions complement each other's? Were there moments where you had different ideas for scenes or character arcs? And how did you collaborate to shape the final narrative?
Yeah, great question. Well, I'll just say like, of course, because it all started with Chuck, right? Like I read the script and I had this incredible place to kind of leap off of. And he writes in a way where, of course, it's incredibly funny, but there's also space in there for me to come in and kind of do what I do. And so in that way, we were able to complement each other really well. And right from the beginning, I mean, sure, we could go back and forth and have some different ideas of things, but we were normally just building instead of sort of like kind of colliding in a lot of different ways. So I'm ready to do another. I'm ready to run it back, Chuck, when you are,
That,
So
as soon as we finished this, we were like, all right, what are we doing next? What's
yeah,
up next? What do we got? Like it's
yeah.
rare to have a director completely interpret your words in such a genuine way, in a way that like he definitely put his own flavor on it, but he really maintained the spirit of the script. And then the way he directed the actors, I thought they all came together in such like a beautiful stew. And yeah, it was I just watching the dailies, even I got really excited. Like they were so good that it looked like they were already edited together. Do you know what I mean? Like it was
I think where we oh, sorry, go ahead, Chuck.
no
Finish
no
that.
no please.
I was just gonna say where we really kind of overlap, but in our different spaces, is this really a comedy with heart, that you don't see
Yeah.
all the time now, and that we really wanted it to feel comedic, but we also wanted it to feel real. We wanted it to feel kind of highbrow and lowbrow. We wanted it to feel like it was something that people were, striving for, but also not some ridiculous over the top thing. And so I was able to do that with his script in a way that moved the camera that felt like how he wrote.
Mhm.
And so in that sense, we were able to kind of have a vision together.
And a great collaboration it was. And again, congratulations and wishing you all the best of luck. And thank you again for this interview.